Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. This video is going to discuss criminal matters arising in Thailand, the immigration apparatus and how it relates to criminal matters, especially for those who've been convicted of crime in Thailand, and immigration detention and the prospect of expedited deportation. What we're discussing today really isn't so much criminal law per se. I'm not a Thai attorney. We have Thai attorneys on staff who handle criminal matters. What we're discussing is mostly criminal conviction, how it pertains to a foreign national here in the kingdom, and what happens in sort of the aftermath of having been convicted and having served one's time here in Thailand. What happens? Well, in most cases, especially those cases involving a criminal conviction in Thailand, the individual is going to be blacklisted. The so-called immigration blacklist, it's a list of those foreign nationals who are not allowed to re-enter the country. And depending on the specific circumstances of the case, and it's hard to say with any generality how a blacklisting is going to actually operate in practice, but depending on the specific circumstances of the case, a blacklisting could be for a lifetime, it could be for a set period of time. It's very dependent. There may be no blacklisting involved. Depending on if it's a very minor offense, there may not be a blacklisting involved. It's very circumstantially dependent, and for that reason, we're not really going to get into the sort of nitty-gritty of blacklisting. However, what we are going to be talking about is, okay, the individual is definitely blacklisted. They've definitely been convicted of, a moderately serious crime in Thailand, something that's involved incarceration in the Thai penal system. And as a result of that, of their release, they're oftentimes going to be placed in what's called immigration detention prior to being deported. Now, it's important to note that immigration detention, depending on who you speak to, may be even less pleasant than being in prison itself in Thailand. That's not to say there's anything necessarily wrong with the facilities. It's just, it's a fairly major change. It's temporary facilities, which fundamentally has a different feel to it for anybody who's ever been incarcerated. It's not set up as some place where someone's going to stay long term. And for that reason, it can be very sort of ad hoc. One may or may not have the same sort of facilities that one's used to after having been in the prison system directly. It definitely is, not going to be a place you want to be when compared to, not being incarcerated at all. And another major issue is simply one of the inmate is finished with their sentence and they essentially just want to be released, okay? Where it's somebody who's gone through the Thai penal system who is a Thai national, upon their sentence being concluded, that individual is going to be released. Barring some sort of unique set of facts, that's simply what's going to happen. But a foreign national is going to be deported. Well, the problem is on any given day, there's a number of prospective deportees. Moreover, if an individual does not have the funds to be deported, then it's not a foregone conclusion that they're going to be quickly deported. And by quickly, I mean to say that, it could take a significant period of time for that individual to be deported, depending on that individual's passport, that individual's nationality. Because there are various countries that are not going to take an individual who's being deported based on, prior criminal acts. And for that reason, immigration authorities primarily, it's immigration that's going to deal with these matters, immigration authorities are going to need to set up a way in which to get that individual back to their home country as quickly and expeditiously as possible. Moreover, they're going to want to do it as cost effectively as possible, especially if the Thai government has to pick up the tab for those matters. Now, there are certain various services that are provided by various foreign embassies here in Thailand to assist in helping to expedite the deportation of an individual, but oftentimes the assistance of individualized counsel in the form of Thai attorneys or an American attorney in combination with a Thai attorney can actually assist in more quickly moving that individual through the immigration detention system and finally getting that deportation expedited. So what we're looking at is a situation in which, essentially an attorney or attorneys are going to go in, talk to the immigration detention folks and basically say, look, this individual has funds to go ahead and purchase their own ticket. They're not going to be a burden on the Thai state. And moreover, can we go ahead and get their paperwork processed and get this situation moving forward so that we can get this individual back to their home country as quickly as possible. That's something that we've provided services for in many circumstances in the past. And more than anything, that can be a real help because there is a backlog of these cases. And in those situations where an individual, either through friends or family or independently, and there are certain limited circumstances where that may be a possibility, that individual actually can come up with funds to go ahead and purchase a plane ticket so that the Thai authorities don't have to be on the hook financially for finding this individual a way home. And under those circumstances, that individual is probably going to move a bit faster through the system when compared to an individual or individuals who cannot afford to go ahead and purchase a ticket back to their home country. Again, nationality sometimes plays a part in these issues or in these situations because, again, various different nationalities are going to have different rules with respect to what countries they can fly through to ultimately get to their home country. Certain nationalities do not have direct flights back to their home country, and direct flights can be a major, major issue. In the past, I've had experience having to deal with essentially trying to cobble together a flight plan that was amenable, or I should say really acceptable, to immigration detention authorities so that they would put that individual on a plane and move them on through, because what they don't want to have to deal with is sort of international, for lack of a better term, sort of backlash from some sort of counterpart in another nation who says, why did you, sort of leave us with this criminal individual in our country? Why did you sort of leave us holding the bag, for lack of a better term? So, again, this isn't really so much talking about criminal law itself. We're talking about the back end of a foreigner who has been convicted, has served their time in the Thai penal system, and now at this point they're looking to simply just get home, get back to their home country. There can be some value added and some services provided by both foreign attorneys and definitely Thai attorneys in expediting the process of getting that individual through the immigration system and back out of the country and headed back to their nation of origin.